And joining me is best-selling author, fitness and of course nutrition expert Rujuta Diwekar. Rujuta, thank you so much for talking to us.
Oh, thank you so much, Pooja. Thanks a lot.
And we live in times where keto, paleo are our new best friends, and carb cycling, everyone wants to pedal away on it. What do you have to say to these new trends that we are now slaves to?
Well, I think that any diet that has a name is not worth being on. It's like deciding which girl to marry based on how thin she is or how fair she is or whether or not she was convent educated and English speaking. So there has to be much more in a person before you decide to be with them, and similarly there has to be much more in a diet than just something that has a name. So go by what is in season, go by what belongs to your region, and also eat according to the occasion. That's the only way that you can be on a sustainable diet, and only sustainable diets that are successful at helping you losing that weight and keeping it off. Every other diet may help you lose weight, but it's going to climb back on your body. So if you really want to lose weight, keep it off. It needs to be a sustainable diet, and a sustainable diet has no name.
Also, Rujuta, these days, without getting themselves tested, people say they are lactose intolerant, they're gluten intolerant, and intermittent fasting is the best way for them to lose weight. And also detox diets. I mean, just have milk and bananas the whole day, have bread the whole day, and or maybe just have fruits the whole day. What do you have to say to that?
Well, again, it's the same thing, you know. I mean, they have names and they are built on either avoiding a certain nutrient or eating more of another kind of a nutrient. And as long as we keep looking at our food only from the point of view of nutrients, we are going to be making the same mistake but in a new version. It's like, what is it called, the same wine but in a new bottle. So we are going to be doing the same thing. So what we need to do is ensure that every time that we are eating, we are not just doing things which build our health, but we are also doing things that help improve the local economy and also preserve global ecology. So eating right has to be much more ambitious than what it currently is. It's not about just knocking off some weight, but it's really about making the world a better place. And you make the world a better place when you're happy with what you're eating. And when you just stick to the basics and eat at home and eat on time, that's also when you look after all of the good bacteria or the microorganisms or the probiotic bacteria that live within your body. And once you have enough of those and you maintain the strength and diversity of these microorganisms, then you also don't have any kind of infections or intolerances or allergies. So it's really about going back to basics, not listening to the dietitian, but listening to your dadi and nani.
Also, Rujuta, our problem with working people is that they finish work very late. They get home, like, say, by 9 o'clock and they have their dinner at 10. And usually it's prescribed that your last meal should be around sunset, like around 7 p.m. or latest by 8. So what should people in such situations do, that who work late and, you know, who work shifts?
Well, I really think that one of the things that our work culture or our offices need to do is work at serving a good wholesome meal to its employees, especially between 6 and 8 in the evening. So anything that's like a poha or a upma or paratha or dal chawal, these are things that need to become available to us within our offices and workspaces to really ensure that the young working people don't gain 5 or 7 kilos of weight just within the very first year of working, or that increasing wealth because of a good career is not leading to depletion of health. So a good meal at office space, or if your office is lax, then maybe you being proactive and carrying a little extra during lunch, in your lunch dabba, so that you can have a little bit of roti sabzi or roti jaggery and ghee between 4 and 6 p.m. That way you can get back home, still have your dinner and not feel bloated or heavy to go off to bed.
Brown rice, white rice, unpolished rice, which is the best form of rice to consume?
I think The one thing that needs to happen within our education and schooling is that we all need to start learning about agriculture right from the time that we are in school, because we all discuss food so often, but we are also disconnected with our farms and with our land where we actually grow food. So if we did study agriculture as a part of school, then we would know that one of the things which is integral to rice farming is pounding of rice, after it's harvested. So that's actually a process where you turn brown rice into white rice, the grain which is looking brown into a grain which is looking more whitish, with maybe a few strands of brown or few strands of red, depending on the seed of the rice that was planted. So that's the kind of rice that you should be eating, either hand pounded or single polished rice, and not unpolished or brown rice, because then if you do eat rice which is not single polished or hand pounded, then you're eating so much fiber that it's coming in the way of your mineral absorption.
Now, there is this one question that everybody has asked me: post 40, how do you get rid of the belly fat?
Post 40, I think that's possibly a question that we have even when we are post 20 or post 60, and the one big reason that we all have big bellies, so you'll see this, all the rich people of developing countries like ours begin to gain a whole lot of weight around the midriff, and that's because our governments are not giving us the kind of mass transport and footpaths that we deserve, so that we can actually walk our way from school to home or from a railway station to our workspaces. So one of the things that needs to happen is, as citizens, we should be allowed to move much more freely on our road, and also in a much safer fashion. So we need footpaths and mass transport so that we can be more on our feet. In terms of our work, we should be standing up for 3 minutes for every 30 minutes of sitting down, and we also need to adopt at least 150 minutes of exercise per week into our routine, so that we actually develop the strength in our lower body to have a flat stomach. So there's a lot that all of us who are above 40 need to do.
Also, Rujuta, which is a doable diet that people should follow? That's not, adhering to some principle or the other, but just a basic diet so that one doesn't gain weight and also is getting the essential nutrients.
The diet which their grandmother approves, I think that's the kind of diet that each one of us needs to be on if we have to make gains on our health and not really lose out on our glow or on the density and volume of our hair. So eat on time, eat the food that is in season, and every time that you're eating, make sure that you're not watching TV or you're not on your phone or reading a magazine and stuff like that. So just keep all your focus on food and eat. That's actually a long-term sustainable way of staying fit and healthy.
Also, another question that people have asked is, like, as you've said, ghee is very important. Our grandmothers used to tell us that have ghee, but people are a little scared that, they might gain weight. So how much of ghee should they take?
How much ghee is good? Number one, ghee is great. Ghee is also one of the panchamrits in our food, in our culture. Also, ghee is extremely important in helping us mobilize stubborn fat stores from our body. Ghee is also critical for helping us sustain the good bacteria that we carry on our body, and that's why ghee also is a major part in my latest book, Pregnancy Notes, because pregnant women in our culture would be given a whole lot of ghee so that they actually find it easier to keep that bone density and the density of the spine, the tone of their muscle, and just exclusively burn their fat stores. So ghee is very important. We all should be eating ghee. We should also not have any fears about cholesterol and ghee, because even the USDA said in April 2015 that cholesterol is a nutrient which is no longer of concern for overconsumption. So that's your dadi saying to you in your vernacular language ke beta ghee khao, ghee khate hai tab ginte nahi hai kitna khate hai. But if if I must answer the question how much ghee, then it all depends on what is it that you're eating. If you're eating puran puri or dal bati, then it requires more ghee. If you're just eating dal chawal or khichdi, then it requires little lesser ghee. If it's just some ghee that you're adding on your chapati when you're eating sabzi and dal, then again it's a little. But there are things like dal bati and puran puri which require tons of ghee. So how much ghee will be based on what you're eating. so much ghee that it brings out all the flavor in the food, and not that much ghee that it kills the flavor in the food. So that's the middle line that we need to walk.
Also, Rujuta, the other question that people have asked is regarding sugar. Is the sugar in fruit okay? And many people, follow the, I'm going to give up sugar, I'm not going to take sugar, I want to be sugar free, but then do tend to take sugar free, Splenda and stevia. What would you say?
About sugar, well, as long as you know how much sugar you're adding to your food, that's totally okay. So a homemade laddu or a barfi is not going to harm you. A teaspoon or two in your chai or coffee is not going to harm you. But if your diet comprises of colas and Tetra Pak juices and pastries and muffins and croissants and donuts, then obviously that's way too much sugar. But it's not just sugar that's the problem. The problem is that you're eating way too processed foods. And that's exactly why sugar which comes from fruit is not a problem, because that's natural sugar. But then don't eat fruit in place of a meal, because then you would be kind of overdoing it. So fruit in a place of a fruit, so as a mid meal, that's fine. But as a replacement to roti sabzi or dal chawal, that's too much.
Which are the 5 diet myths that you want to break?
5 diet myths that I want to break. Well, the number 1 would be that ghee is fattening, but then again it's not. Ghee is something that you need to help assimilate vitamin D, and vitamin D keeps your thyroid in good shape, and having a well functioning thyroid is critical to losing weight. So ghee for multiple reasons, but also for its ability to assimilate vitamin D. The second thing that I would like to take on is that sugar is unhealthy. Well, actually sugar is healthy, but it should come from sugar cane and all of its derivatives, the jaggery and the mishri and the lal shakkar and even the white sugar that we have. And of course, keep it, if you do eat a traditional Indian diet, you would not be consuming more than 3 to 4 teaspoons of sugar a day, and that much is totally fine. Don't make the mistake of replacing sugar with something else, because the minute you replace sugar with something else, you have tons of the halwa, because now it is without sugar, but it is used some kind of a sugar replacement, and then you'll end up overeating, and that's how you gain weight. So sugar is good, do eat your sugar. The third thing that I would like to say is pickle. Pickle is healthy too. In our kitchens, pickle is really something where our grandmothers have used pickle to grow just the right kind of bacteria which is good for human beings, and ensured that the bad bacteria which is harmful for us is not allowed to grow within this whole mixture of pickle. So pickle goes through something called as lactofermentation, and it actually allows your body to assimilate vitamins like vitamin B12 quite well. It also gives you that source of good and probiotic bacteria. So please have your pickle. Don't worry about salt. The amount of salt that goes in pickle is required to ensure that only the right kind of bacteria is growing within the pickle. And the fourth thing that I would like to say is that pay attention to all of the forgotten foods. Foods which are available in your own native land but don't have a translation in Hindi or English are that much more beneficial to your health than the typical regular foods that you can just buy off the health or the superfood market. So the lingdi from our Himalayan states, the specific kind of curry that Haryana makes, the coconut from Kerala, the rice that we eat in the western region, or the olive seeds that we eat here. So all of these special things, all of these hyper local things need to be on our plate, and we shouldn't wait for them to first get an English term and then start eating it. And well, the fifth thing that I would also like to say is that it's not just about your diet, but it is also about having a good bedtime routine and sleeping on time, because one of the things that's undervalued when one is trying to lose weight is really one's sleep pattern. So do have a regulated bedtime. Go to bed and wake up at a fixed time every day and watch your body shrink.
Which are the Indian superfoods that you swear by?
Dahi, makhan, ghee, rice, chewing on sugarcane, having jaggery and ghee as a part of our meals, arif, haldi, jeera, ajwain, ragi, bajra, jawar, kuttu. I can go on and on, you know, everything that we have that grows in the land that we are living in. So everything that's regional, that is in season, and that fits the occasion that you're celebrating, or just simply fits the regular logistical life that you're leading. So we have many superfoods out there. We shouldn't wait for any tabloid or fashion magazine or even Washington Post to carry an article on them before embracing them.
And also this one new fad is these days that the butter coffee, have butter in your coffee or have ghee in your coffee.
Correct. And turmeric latte and things like that. So we should stick to having our coffee like the way we used to have it, you know, wo coffee marke and with regular milk, because even that has fat, you know. So why just have fat from coconut or fat only, you know, from a specific source? Have the fat that goes well with the coffee that you're drinking.
Also, you recently wrote a book for pregnant women and also women who are having babies, because nutrition is very important. But then there is that myth that you need to eat for two. Should they exercise? Should they not? And once the baby happens, they all want to lose weight immediately and go back to their pre-baby weight. So what would you have to say to the pregnant, you know, or women who are planning to have babies or who are already on the family way?
That don't rush the process of losing weight once you've delivered a baby, because it is a big physiological stressor, carrying the baby, delivering the baby, and then also looking after the baby once it's, you know, once you've delivered. So go easy on your body, nurture yourself back in shape, take it a day at a time, and don't forget to eat the laddus that your grandmother has sent you, because each one of them is nutrient dense. It really has the nutrients that you need to recover from your delivery. It has the nutrients and minerals that you need to regain that lost bone and muscle density, and most importantly, it also has all of the essential fatty acids that are required to mobilize the extra fat stores that you're carrying at this point of time. So take it a day at a time and listen to your grandmom's wisdom. That's the fastest way to get back in shape. And if you don't have access to your grandmom right now, then you can read pregnancy notes, because one of the interesting things that we have done in this book is that we have crowdsourced recipes per trimester and even post delivery from all the grandmothers who live across the globe but are Indian. So we've taken down all of their recipes, you know, so each one of us can easily follow those in all of the trimesters and also for the 40 days post delivery.
Also, Kareena Kapoor is now someone who's, you know, she's glowing post baby as well, but everybody feels, oh, she's lost all that weight, maybe she doesn't eat. But she and you are very close, and she swears by your diet regime, and she's kind of a brand ambassador.
Well, that's why, I mean, you know, every book that I have written, right from Don't Lose Your Mind, Lose Your Weight, all the way up to Pregnancy Notes, the inspiration behind those books is Kareena, and mostly because she eats everything, but people feel that she doesn't eat anything, which according to her is a big compliment, because she feels that people almost cannot conceive the fact that the only way one can be in good shape and stay in good shape for the rest of one's life is to really be on a sustainable diet, which doesn't involve starvation or deprivation, but simply requires discipline and nurturing and regularity of one's lifestyle. And therefore, even in Pregnancy Notes, one of the big messages that I have for all the women out there is that get in shape even before you think of getting pregnant. Don't overthink losing weight post pregnancy. Get in shape, get in good shape before you get pregnant. That way you're in shape while you're pregnant, and you're in good shape even after you've delivered.
Also, Rujuta, a lot of people like me are slaves to the scale. We are obsessed with the weighing scale to see how much we weigh. And have we lost weight? Has that food suited me? Has it not? So what would you say?
Well, work out like a real person, don't work out like a maniac. That's number one. Number two is get rid of your weighing scale. Your weighing scale is not an indicator of how fat or how fit you are. Go by your inner experiences. Do you feel lighter, fitter, thinner? Can you push more at workouts than what you used to? Can you keep your patience and, inner peace even while you're at work. And third most important thing is don't skip your meals, because a lot of you guys who work in the media are constantly just skipping their meals to a point where it's so late to eat that by the time you eat, you've completely lost both your hunger signal and your satiety signal. So you have no control over when you start eating, and you also have no control on when to stop eating, so just eat at regular intervals. That will help you stay in good shape. And you, Pooja, by the way, are in great shape. So I think you have to just see yourself with new eyes now.
Well, Rujuta, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you for having me on your show. Thanks. Bye.